Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Coast Files, your podcast for ocean mysteries and true crime. I'm Chantel.
I'm Lindsay.
And I'm Megan.
Hello, beautiful ladies.
Hello.
Hi.
So this episode actually comes out on World Oceans Day.
Oh, so ironic.
Ooh.
I know.
So we're going to celebrate the ocean, our favorite thing.
Yes. We'll probably make some posts about it, but
Yeah.
I thought
Celebrate all the bad stuff that we do to her.
We are
Yeah.
so mean to the ocean. No wonder she gets
Mm.
angry with us sometimes.
We deserve
Takes
it.
our
Like,
take our ships.
I say this
Yeah.
like lightly, obviously, because people get seriously hurt by ocean activity. But just, my
Yes.
God, the shit that humans put in the ocean is, I mean, you're going to tell us how we fuck the
Well, I
world up.
mean, this is definitely water related. Not necessarily ocean specific. There is an ocean element.
It's all connected,
It's-
man.
it's all
Circle
connected.
of life. So
Yeah.
don't forget, if
It's
water
about water.
touches it. Yeah.
Yeah,
If water's
yeah, water
involved.
touches- No, listen. I mean, it's just actually decided to do this, and then found out later that it was World Oceans Day, and I was like, oh, that works.
No,
Like-
cut that out.
Yeah.
Pretend that it was on purpose.
It was on purpose, totally on purpose. This was all
Happy
planned.
coincidence.
You know,
So it's been a while since we've actually let each other know ahead of time, but this was something that kind of came up to
Mhm.
us from a lovely listener who wrote to us. But we're diving into environmental impact of artificial intelligence, especially when it comes to water. So the hidden cost of clicks, if you will.
I'm sorry. Did you create that little tagline?
That's like a fancy article
That's-
title.
Hello,
Also, I don't know-
marketing
I don't know if you
exec.
guys- I don't know if you guys saw the title too. It's Waterlogged, the hidden cost of tech. So,
Damn.
guys, I went
Oh.
in
Stop it.
on this. Anyway,
Love
so
it.
the listener that wrote into us the other day, they were talking about us maybe reconsidering our use of AI due to its water consumption. And so this really brought it to light for us. And I started to do a lot of research into it, as well as just other things that we do on the daily and how much water it costs us. And we are still pro AI use within reason. That doesn't mean that
Mhm.
we're anti-environment or anti-water,
I'd say
obviously.
quite the
but-
opposite. But
yeah.
Right.
But I just really wanted to dive deep into the truth behind the AI water consumption and compare it to just everything else that kind of happens in life. Because I
Yeah.
think it's really easy for people to jump on the newest bit of technology, the newest craze, and just say
Yeah.
bad, 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 and forget about everything else that we've kind of like come to accept over time. Like, look at this
Mhm.
whole straw thing that happened, 5 years ago, where it's like suddenly like straws are bad and they're the biggest evil on the planet. And then they're like, okay, now that we fixed the straw problem, let's forget about all the other trash that's everywhere.
Yeah.
did
Even
we
though
fix the straw
straws
problem?
made up like the 0.01% of the trash
Love
in the
my
ocean.
soggy
So-
paper straws.
Yeah. So I think it's just really important for us to understand the hidden cost behind our technology, of course, and technology in everything, because
Mhm.
everything around us is a certain form of tech, and that we should always strive to be more informed. But I think it's also better for us to take kind of a seat back on this jump of like, AI is absolutely bad, and that's the only answer, because I also don't
Mhm.
believe that
I
personally.
I feel both ways. Like, I have seen Terminator 2, so I am very cautious. Whenever I do use ChatGPT,
we
I
saw
go,
the Matrix.
I say,
Yeah.
hi, good morning, how are you? Thank you. Because, like, I know that when that uprising
Right.
happens, they'll be like, hey, wait, that
That one
lady-
was nice.
That
to me.
She was
human's
nice.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
We'll spare
Um,
her.
Yes, exactly.
for now.
I get it.
now.
I was always nice to my Alexa. I always said thank you after she did things for me, so I
Mhm.
get it. You have to be.
Yeah.
I yell at Vadim sometimes when he's like getting frustrated with ChatGPT when he's
like,
talking
"Shut
with it. And
up."
I'm like, they're
my
gonna
God.
kill you first. I don't
It
want to be
was-
associated with this.
So cute when my son discovered Alexa and he started asking her all these questions about the universe. And he
Aw.
spent like an hour just asking her questions. It was so
I've done
funny.
that
Didn't
too.
he also at one point just start asking her to make fart noises?
Yes.
a
Yes.
bunch?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
He's like broke Alexa. She was just farting like crazy. Oh my gosh.
Sorry, but like I've also done that. Like, that's hilarious.
I just love how he used AI for good,
Yeah.
really. Is
Yeah,
to
he
make fart
did.
noises. So what more can you ask?
and ask about the universe.
Two of the most
Exactly.
important things.
Yeah.
He's got his priorities straight. That's for sure.
He
Oh,
does.
for
He
damn
does.
sure. Hmm.
Okay, so we're going to start with the big question, and this is how much water does AI actually use? Let's just get it out of the way here. So, a study from UC Riverside estimates that each time you run a single AI query, ChatGPT or Gemini or whatever is consuming roughly 500 mils of water. So, that's about a standard size bottle of water for each query. When AI was first coming to the market, it was way more conservative than that. It was about 500 mils for 20 to 30 queries. But obviously, as things grew
Mm.
and they needed more
Mm.
servers and things like that, that's why all of this grew with the amount of water that was being needed. So, this water is used to cool the servers, to process that request, and data centers generate a ton of heat. I don't know if you guys ever been in an IT room, like the server room of a building, like it's hot as
In my
Yeah.
oh, you're
office, the server like room is behind me, so it's hot.
oh god, yeah,
Oh,
that would be
I
really
would
hot.
love
Yeah.
that because I like to be warm.
Yeah, it's not bad actually.
We are in a very old historic building that
Yeah.
has as much like ventilation as what doesn't have ventilation? That's what I'm trying to get at. So that there's no ventilation. That's a
Yes.
bad metaphor. So it's hot. So you think that you want it, but you don't. And also I have
Okay.
no windows because it's an old building, like I said.
Okay.
So
That part is
That's
not as good,
fantastic.
but I like my
So
windows.
they generate a ton of heat. They need cooling systems.
Mhm.
And a lot of them rely on evaporating cooling, which is where they cool the air with water before it circulates in the server rooms. This
Mhm.
uses less energy than air conditioners, but increases the amount of water that you use, obviously. And all of these different ways that they cool down the servers rely heavily on water to keep the temperatures in check. And obviously, like one query doesn't sound like much, but you're multiplying this by millions of users per day, and it's adding up really fast. Microsoft, which powers a lot of OpenAI's infrastructure, reported using 1.7 billion liters of water alone in 2022.
Huh?
And much of that
Wow.
was from the demand from AI workloads.
Where did
Um,
just sorry, out of curiosity, what happens to the water after it cools the systems?
Well, I mean, a lot of it is evaporated, so it's just kind of like
Gone.
Yeah.
But goes and then it goes into the clouds, and then it rains back down.
Into
Well,
which
I
cloud?
mean, I think
Oh.
that so we
Sorry, the delay for me, Lizzie, is so good because I thought that she got it. And then when she really got it, I
Yeah.
saw.
I didn't realize we were on a delay.
so yeah, so I didn't really go. There is a little bit of like reuse that we get into later and stuff like
Yeah.
that they're trying to do, but I think a lot of it is just kind of like, yes, evaporated, and then whatever little tiny molecules will obviously do whatever water molecules molecules do. You know,
Just do what they do.
science occurs.
A chemistry
Um,
curse.
so where
Molecules
this
gonna
really
molecule.
the molecule's a molecule. You can't help it. So where this really starts to impact the environment is when data centers are in water scarce regions. And this obviously has its own slew of ethical concerns because it's already water scarce, and then they're using so much for this one thing. So it's like, are they taking it away from people that could be using it? And so that's a whole other,
They probably
It's like a
are.
bad spot to put one.
yeah. And where things also get a little bit more interesting with this whole AI use as well is that Google queries alone use very little water. We're talking about 0.2 mils per Google query and about 1 to 3 mils to click through 5 pages of Google results, which, let's face it, nobody goes past page 2. So you're not using a lot of water to just use Google. And this is because it's extremely optimized because of the infrastructure that it has, where it uses evaporated cooling systems, yes, but once the initial query is processed, the rest are cached in pre-saved content. So you can click through and click the links, and it doesn't have to
Okay.
constantly. It's not like where AI amalgamates a bunch of information and gives you kind of a summarized result. This is like, here's the results, go ahead and click through them.
That's smart.
Yeah.
However,
But obviously, that's
And I
how they
still
do it.
use
Google
Google
has-
search for a lot of stuff. Like if
Yes.
I'm just looking up something that I know Google can provide, I don't think I'm
Yes,
going to
of
go to
course.
ChatGPT for that. So
Yes, which I think most people do, but obviously there must be some people who are just like constantly using AI as well. But Google has started to integrate AI, as we know, in its search engine. So Yes, sometimes
Yes.
like smaller queries, like if you're just like looking up a restaurant, it's not going to give you an AI summary of the restaurant, but depending on the question that you're asking, now it's giving you an AI summary. So now we've jumped to 500 mils per query. You can turn this off though. You can stop Google, which you can stop Google. You can stop Gemini by
We write it
going in
on.
and you can disable it, which maybe might not be a bad idea. Use AI separately and use Google separately, but it could potentially start to use the same. Well, it does use the same amount of water if it's doing the AI summary content. So. But we're going to compare all of this to other things we do every day. So let's take Instagram, for instance. Scrolling for about 10 minutes on Instagram, especially if you're watching reels or stories, uses 2 to 5 liters of water. So just for 10 minutes. You do that for an hour, you're using 12 to 30 liters of water. That's 24 to 60 bottles of water for 1 hour on Instagram.
Whoa.
Oh my
Meta,
God.
meaning Facebook, WhatsApp, Instagram, reported using 9.8 billion liters of water, mostly for cooling, in 2022.
Oh, wow.
And TikTok is even more intensive because it's autoplay heavy and high resolution. So their actual water usage is difficult to find because they don't disclose this. And the reason why they don't disclose this is because they lease their server usage from another company, which means that their numbers are like jumbled together with other numbers. But researchers and analysts estimate that 1 hour of TikTok is 30 to 60 liters of water.
Oh my God. So really,
They
when
base
we
this
generate
estimate
our one AI post, it's not nearly as bad as the social media stuff we're doing.
Yes, exactly. And we'll get more into this. So they base that estimate on average data used per minute and the water intensity of the data centers. That's how they get those numbers, since they don't have the specific numbers. The company formerly known as Twitter, after old Elon Pelon's acquisition of the company, he was cutting costs left and right because he overpaid for the platform, which would
I'm
mean
just so
less,
happy about.
which could mean less efficient cooling in some of the data centers. However, like TikTok, Twitter rents their cloud services from Amazon or Google, I can't remember, and so their water usage is all embedded as well. So the specific amount that Twitter uses is unclear as well. YouTube, our love,
What
is one
about
of the
YouTube?
biggest data hogs
No.
on the internet today. And this is mostly because it's in HD and 4K videos. So yes, even though you love seeing our beautiful faces in 1080p, you can put down that resolution if you would like to. This
I'd actually
is a
prefer
massive...
it
yeah.
because it's just
You
sometimes
see less
too
wrinkles
close.
this way.
Right.
Although my Botox is really kicking in, so I'm
Yeah.
okay.
I still get pimples too, so let's just blur those out with
Yeah.
720. Thanks.
Or even 460.
do
Yeah,
whatever
you
you're
want.
feeling.
Just like
just
honestly,
turn it off. I don't
squint.
know.
Turn it off. Yeah, listen to our audio. No, don't do. Listen to watch our video too, because
Yeah.
Chantel puts so much effort into it.
Well, thank you.
So,
Thank
But
you.
just look at it like with one eye closed and very, very low res.
Yeah, it's fine.
So YouTube is also closely tied to Google, which reported using 21.2 billion liters of water in 2022 across all of its operations.
Am I assuming that this is fresh water, or like ocean, and then filtered out the
We get
salt
into
content?
the different
Like how?
types of water that they use soon.
Okay. I'll shut up then, I guess.
Streaming Netflix for 1 hour,
Oh no.
12 liters of water.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right, so just like don't flush your toilet all day and like offset it, right?
Yeah,
Is
I
that
guess
how it
so.
works?
Yeah.
Ew.
Unless you poop,
Then
then
if
you
it's
can flush.
yellow.
You don't have to outhouse it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Right.
spending thousands of dollars a week in plumbers.
But you're saving the planet.
But yeah,
With
you're saving
water.
the planet. Now you can watch all the YouTube videos you want because you stopped
Yes.
flushing your toilet. We flush once a week in this household.
Oh my god.
No.
Everybody just go back to outhouses. It's fine.
Yeah. Watch YouTube.
Well,
Use it
I did mention, yeah, so go on YouTube, find out how to build an outhouse, and then we move into the middle of the woods, and then we just do like shadow puppet shows, and that's how we entertain ourselves.
I love it. I love it.
Right.
With our one t-shirt and our one pair of jeans. Because guess
That we
what?
all
We're
have to
about to
share.
get into fashion.
Yes.
And you guys are
Ugh.
not going to like this.
No,
at
but
all.
I already know a little bit, so I already know that I hate
No,
it.
no. You don't even know. Trust me, you don't even know.
I saw a
So-
documentary once.
I'm just not buying any
Shocking.
more clothes after this moment,
No.
right?
No.
Okay.
So obviously fast fashion is
Sorry,
not
just
great.
the way that I don't know what happened to you just then when you tried to say that.
I love that we start an endeavor where we have to speak all the time, but none of
I
us
am
can.
so bad at it. So bad at it.
Sorry, go ahead. Good luck. Go.
Okay. Fashion industry. Fast fashion. It sucks. But fashion in general is a water hungry monster. A single cotton t-shirt, 2,700 liters of water.
That
Wait.
seems insane. How would we
Wait.
have any water left?
Because of you're growing the cotton, it's the processing of it, it's all of it that goes into making one shirt, 2,700 liters of water. A pair of jeans, one pair of jeans, up to 7,600 liters of water for one pair of jeans.
Oh my God.
That's enough water for a person to drink for 7 years if they were to drink their recommended daily intake of 2.7 liters a day.
Which I totally do. I love my
So
water.
nudism?
7 years to make
So
a pair of jeans.
I currently own 4 pairs of jeans, so that's all I get.
Yeah, and I have 3, and I guess
you
I'm
can
done.
never lose
I've got a
or
wide
gain
leg,
weight.
I got a mom jean, I got a skinny jean, and then I got kind of an in-between jean. So I think I'm all set for
There
any
you go. Perfect.
I think
fashion
you covered them
trend.
all. Yeah.
Yeah. Done.
And so obviously we know that over-consuming also leads to more landfills. We're hurting in so many different ways when it comes to especially fast fashion, but luxury fashion isn't off the hook. While they have a smaller water footprint, not the other way, a print foot, it's by far no means small. It tends to use higher quality materials, but items like leather handbags still require 17,000 liters of water when you factor in livestock and tanning. Wool, silk, and cashmere use less water, which is normally what high-end luxury places use, but it's still around 5,000 liters per kilogram of material.
Oh, but it's less, so.
Yeah.
But I guess if say like you guys bought me a Chanel bag or something,
Sorry.
I would.
I'm so poor. So I
It's
wish
a
I could.
hypothetical situation. But that would be my purse forever. So
Forever,
like, that would be
yeah.
the one good thing is like I don't need another bag. So if you guys
I-
just bought me that,
I would
be
write
set.
happy birthday until you die. This is the
Forever.
Right,
only
this is the
gift.
purse forever. You don't
But
get
also the
another
last
purse.
present you're also getting from me because
Yeah.
I'm poor now.
Right. You guys
This-
are like
this-
7, you're still paying off my purse.
This purse has financially destroyed me. I will never recover from this.
Yeah, but you're splitting
Exactly.
with Chantel, so it's fine.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
so-
fair. That's fair.
So it's only
That's fine.
half as bad.
That's fine.
Right. And I'll get one for you guys too. It's fine. But
You're
Perfect.
gonna buy us one each, and we're gonna split one. I love this deal.
yeah, maybe not
I'm down
anytime
for this
soon.
deal.
But yeah.
So
While the
yes.
American dollar's better, I guess.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
While you're living high on your American dollar over there. So yes, around 5,000 liters per kilogram for wool, silk, and cashmere, but that water also increases if the fabrics are dyed or treated in any way.
Which they are
All are.
always like.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes you can get like natural fabric.
Yes,
right?
the natural colors and stuff like that. Like linen, I think,
Yeah.
is linen colored.
Right.
I don't
So if I
think it's
buy it
dyed.
in
I just
linen
think it's very,
shade.
very rare because even if you buy something, you're like, oh, it's white. Like they bleach it. Like everything
They
is
still,
treated.
yeah,
Like
they still
nothing
treat it in a
is
certain way.
natural anymore. It's all anyway. It's
Yeah.
all bad, really.
well,
And
cotton
then we
is
have
white,
electronics.
right?
Yes, well, I know, but it's still like I
still
think that once you
bleach
make
it, I
it
think.
though, like they have to because it makes it. I don't think they come out like monocolor like they are. They're probably. I don't know. I don't know enough to be honest. I
Hey,
would
if
have to
you're
look
in
into that.
the textile industry, write in.
Let us
Yeah.
know what cotton looks like when it's fresh off the farm.
Is
And
it nice? Would
is
you wear it?
and firstly made into
Yeah.
a shirt. So electronics making a smartphone.
A lot.
12,000 liters of water from production all the way to your packaged phone at the store. So if you're
Oh my
including packaging
God.
and everything like that, but the most water consuming parts are
Mhm.
the chips, and they take
Yeah.
around 3,000 to 8,000 liters of water per chip, and phones have up to 3
That's
chips
crazy.
in them.
Oh my god.
And a
Oh my
laptop
God.
is even more, and the bulk of that comes from the semiconductor production, which is a super water intensive process. So
Oh,
your
wow.
phone, have it until it dies. You don't need the
Yeah.
newest one just because the newest one has come out.
I
just,
have never been
that
run yours
type.
into the ground.
I
I
I've-
have Damien's old phone.
Yeah. I usually keep
Or if
them
you
until
can
like the battery starts to go like, and then I upgrade. But I've had this one
Yeah.
for 3.5 years, almost 4 years. It's been
This is
fine.
the first phone that I've probably gotten myself in since I moved back to Canada, because my mom would just always give me her old one. She would get a new one and she'd be like, "Here, you have this one." And then every once in a while she'd check in and be like, "Hey, how's your phone doing?" I'd be like, "Yeah, it's definitely cracked in a million places and dying and the battery doesn't hold a charge anymore." She's like, "Okay, I'll get a new one and you can have my old one." Like,
I like how you still get a new phone only because though she's like, well, I'm going to give my phone to her and I'm just going to replace mine. But you
Yeah.
still get a new phone.
I just took this
I
off
have-
because
but
I
it's literally
because
because I ran them into the ground.
Oh.
There's
Oh.
like I just chipped the
Look.
corner of the protector shield
Yeah,
recently.
I can see it.
So I'm just gonna
Thank
take
God
it
you
off.
had it though.
Well, I
I'm
have
gonna
the
put a new
Google
one
phone
on.
and I have bashed this thing around. It does not crack.
What? Okay,
Yeah.
Lindsay, you're an Apple gal. What is the
Mhm.
newest iPhone?
Oh my, I think it's the 16 is the newest one, and then
So
the
I have
17
a-
is coming out soon.
I have a 13 Pro.
I have a 13 Pro as well.
Okay, so what does that mean? Are we like saving the planet or no?
Well, this was from 2021, so I think we've had it for a decent amount of
It's a
time.
goodish time, so we
Yeah.
can feel not as guilty.
If we need to upgrade,
Just keep it
yeah.
until it dies. Then you'll feel not guilty at all.
My
That's-
battery
Sell
is
it.
starting to die
Make sure
faster.
you're passing it down.
Yeah.
Listen,
I don't think
we're gonna get into reduce, reuse,
Okay.
recycle
Okay.
soon here.
I mean,
So-
I always
Classic.
trade it in. I don't keep it.
Yeah, or
as a
trade it in.
memento.
Yes,
Yeah.
I mean, try and do what you can
Yeah.
to listen. Nothing is perfect here. We're not perfect. We're
Yeah.
still
I
humans.
kind
at
of want the
end
new
of
iPhone
day.
now that we're talking about it.
It's having the
I
opposite
also
effect.
have the Google 8 Pro, and then the Google 9 Pro came out like 6 months later, and I was like, I should have fucking waited, but I'm holding off. I'm holding
Yeah.
off. Okay. Let's talk about water and household use. We're gonna use modern appliances here for the numbers. But if
Mhm.
you have older generation appliances in your house, some of these numbers are almost double. Some of them are triple.
Okay.
So if you can, and I get that this is a point of privilege to be able to afford appliances and have newer appliances and replace
Mhm.
things. And sometimes it's not you can't because you're renting a place and it's somebody else's property. So I get that it's not as easy to do. It's an easier said than done type situation. But yeah, like the energy efficient ones, definitely there's a huge difference on the water consumption.
Really?
So
Mhm. Well, I
Yeah,
just had to part ways with my 1950s oven at the new place we bought. So
well, that doesn't use water. So you probably that's the one
I was like,
appliance that doesn't use water.
But
I was like-
electricity, wouldn't it use? How is
Well, it
that
might use
different
more
than
electricity.
the
You're
other?
probably right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially if you're on hydroelectricity. Is that how that works?
Yeah, it's still like
Yeah,
By
the
electric
electricity
oven.
for sure. For sure. So a load of laundry and a front loader that is HE uses about 40 to 60 liters of water per load. Washing dishes
seems
by
like a
hand.
lot.
Yeah.
Even for like a light
an
load.
an old washer was up to 120 liters of water.
Damn.
Yeah, it was really bad. And I like checked these numbers. I was like, these numbers don't make sense to me. Like, I can't be this bad. And yeah. Washing dishes by hand with the tap running can use 30 to 50 liters per session because taps run at
I can
approximately
tell you're
6
guilty,
liters per
Megan.
minute.
That's all that I have.
You fill the sink. You don't let it run
I
constantly.
actually don't have a stopper. I should
Okay,
probably
you buy a stopper at the
Okay.
dollar
like
store,
a
Megan.
dollar.
just let me write this down.
A
Stopper.
dishwasher, however, uses only about 10 to 15 liters for a load of dishes. And normally you're doing more dishes in that
Yeah.
way as well.
A lot
So
of
you actually are
dishwashers
saving
advertise that you are using less.
Yeah,
But that
because
must be,
a
like,
lot of
with the water
dishwashers now
running.
too, they're even better. It's because they reuse a lot of the water in the machine itself as well. So yeah, these especially the high efficiency ones. An 8-minute shower uses about 65 to 100 liters of water, depending on your shower head, whether it's high flow or low flow. And a cup of coffee, all in from growing the bean
Don't.
to serving the coffee.
Get away.
And this isn't a pod. This
Stop
is
it.
filter coffee. Is 130 liters for one fucking cup of coffee.
Pry out of my cold dead hands.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
from-
if
That's bad.
There's a lot of things that you can do, though, when you're looking at buying your coffee. First of all, sorry, ladies, I know you love your pods, but you don't use them every day, so that's okay. But obviously, a lot of water goes into the production of those little tiny pod cases. But
I recycle
also,
them at least.
they actually said that even the filter coffee machines aren't that great either for water,
Yeah.
and that you should be using French
My
press is one of the
pour-over is
best
probably-
I have that.
waters.
Yeah, I have a pour-over
and
coffee mug or
oh yeah,
kettle
yeah.
thing. So
And then, and they said that when you're buying coffee, you can find certain ones where what they use rather than actually, so they either are shade grown, so they're not needing to water them as often, or they're
Mhm.
using rainwater to water the plants and stuff
Okay.
like that.
Will they
So
advertise that?
they're yeah, a lot of them apparently advertise how they're more eco-friendly for the beans because
Okay.
the beans do use like a crap ton of water, and that's where most of the water consumption comes from your cup of
Mhm.
coffee. Even our cleaning products have hidden water costs. For instance, liquid fabric detergent can use 3,000 to 6,000 liters of water per kilogram to make it once you factor in the production and the packaging. So every time you do a load of laundry, there's water in the drum, there's water embedded in the detergent, and the amount of water that you're using per load almost doubles.
Is there a
This
better one to use? Like if I want to use the
so
sheets or something? Is
I
that
have maybe the sheets one, probably those ones would be better. They probably use less water. But one thing that I do as well is I buy this is not an ad. I
Concentrate.
buy concentrated. It's Arm and Hammer one, and
Oh.
it's for sensitive skin, and it
Oh.
smells delicious still.
Oh.
And it's highly
Mm.
concentrated, so you're using a lot less of it.
okay?
Okay.
I'll have
Yeah.
to look it up.
So this all adds up, and they say the average household can use 300 to 60 liters of water per week just for cleaning. That's not anything else. That's not counting used to manufacture the products or bring them up themselves. It's just for cleaning.
Oh,
And studies
gosh.
show that in Canada, each person uses on average 335 liters of water per day, all in. So this is your showers, this is brushing your teeth, this is going to the bathroom, this is drinking water, this is everything you eat and drink and products that you use on the daily.
Wow. I do use I try to make my own cleaner with like water vinegar, which obviously water,
Me
but
too.
and then whatever water went into making the vinegar.
Yeah.
But it's a great natural cleaner. Just
Yes.
putting it out there.
Yeah, it is. It is. And then you can just like sprinkle a little essence in it too if you want to
Mhm.
kind
Yeah, I
of
put some
lower
essential
wait.
oil in there.
Yes. Yeah.
My essential oils.
Ooh.
That's a beautiful case. Oh
Oh
my
my
God, you have so
gosh.
many.
So I know what scents I like, but also then you get a giant tub of this one scent where I get these little ones, and I have like patchouli, thyme,
You
grapefruit,
can mix and match
cardamom,
too.
which I do.
Mm.
I
Ooh.
make my own natural room spray and deodorizer using
Yeah, you got me into that, Megan.
isopropyl
Yeah.
alcohol. Well, but
With
you mentioned cleaner, so I do like my own
Mhm.
like countertop cleaner and dish
Yeah.
soap, whatever. But I use like a room spray because I know like all the Scentsy stuff and Bath and Body Works stuff is not great for you. Probably
Right.
essential oils aren't either, but it's a nice way to like just kind of deodorize.
Depends where you get them from though, as well.
I don't know,
Mhm.
Amazon. Amazon's the devil, I know, but
Yeah, the Bath and Body Works
Um,
stuff I just can't. It's too strong. I now that I'm used
I like some
to
of their ones.
yeah, I think it all
yeah, it's just
depends. Like I
very
have one
strong.
plugged in still near the
Mhm.
cat litter, and
Mhm.
I don't even know like if it's working because I can hardly smell it. Maybe I'm nose blind
Mhm.
to it. But if you go into a small room, sometimes it's like overpowering.
Yeah, Eric
So I just
got one of
I go through phases. I take breaks, and like they say now, don't burn candles. Candles are bad. I'm like, oh my god, let me just have something, please.
No,
even my
not
soy
allowed to
wax
have anything.
candles.
Well, they say, oh, you shouldn't be breathing in like the liquefied paraffin wax particles, and I'm like, oh my god, just.
But what if it's beeswax or like she said, soy wax?
I
Yeah.
probably not. I mean, I'll look
Probably
it
not
up.
as bad. Yeah.
That'll be the next
Yeah.
episode.
Beeswax has got to be okay. That's
It's
I
bees.
would
from the
assume so.
bees. It's from the bees. Come on.
Okay, I'm actually gonna Google that really
Um,
quick using AI.
So now that we're all overwhelmed and depressed,
Yeah.
what can we actually do?
Tell me.
So you don't have to give up tech. You don't have to give up AI. You don't have to give up your clothing. You don't have to give up digital tools. We can
can still
adapt here
drink.
too. And we've learned, look how much we've adapted over the years. Recycling programs, composting, like there's all kinds of things that we've done. And we're going to continue to learn. We're going to continue to grow. We're going to continue to learn how to make changes, put pressure on companies to make changes as well, to reduce, reuse, recycle, whatever they have to do. So, but here for us, here are some practical tips Limit unnecessary AI use. Like we said before, if you're just Googling the weather, don't use AI. You can do that through Google.
Right. Or the weather app.
Or
Or look
yeah, or
outside.
like the weather app.
Yeah,
Look
you could do it the
outside.
old-fashioned way.
You can probably skip the AI query quite a bit. And be mindful of the video usage, how you're streaming it in lower resolution when you don't need it to be in HD. This was a really good one, actually. And since our listener brought this up, it was something that I really started doing because I started thinking about it and I was like, okay, well, I can be smarter when I'm using AI. And it's to batch your questions instead in the AI apps. So, what I've started doing whenever I ask a question is I think about every single last follow-up question that I might have. So then it's
Mhm.
just one query that's happening because
Yeah.
the query size doesn't matter. It's the actual just like query happening
Mhm.
itself.
Yeah.
Um, so you can choose efficient appliances to do your laundry and your dishes. You can buy a stopper for your sink.
Megan.
You can use
I will.
eco-friendly cleaning products, ideally refillable or concentrated ones. There's
Mhm.
actually a lot that I've seen. So kind of like what you're saying, Lindsay, where you can make
Yeah.
your own, but I've seen a lot of these other ones too, where
Little
you
tablet.
buy the bottles, yeah, and then
Mhm.
the little tabs that dissolve in
Yep.
it. They have other ones that are actually, it's not even that they're dissolvable, but they come in like aloe vera pods and stuff like that. So it's like the outside is
Yeah.
Cool.
biodegradable. You can just put it into your composting
Love that.
afterwards. There's reusable paper towel now because obviously paper towel takes a lot of water to make.
God, I love my
Um,
paper towel. I love it so
there's
No, I
much.
there's
do.
all kinds of reusable things that you
I
can
remind
get now.
myself that I walk everywhere for the most part or use the bus, so I can
Mhm.
use paper towel as an offset, not
So
driving.
I feel like everything that you would do uses water in some
Mhm.
way. If I had access to a washer and dryer that was not like at the basement of the building and wasn't like this whole big thing I have to leave my apartment, if I could just do a little load in the
Mhm.
house, I would get those like reusable paper towels, like just like they're not
Mm,
they're not
yeah,
microfiber, right? But they're
Yeah.
great. Like they're almost like a chamois or what
yeah.
is anyway. But because
ShamWow.
I have to batch my laundry so much and it's such a big
Mhm.
to do, I do paper towel. Whenever I can, I use like a microfiber cloth, but they don't get things dry. I find they like leave everything
Yes, no,
so
I hate
wet.
microfiber cloths so
Yeah.
There's
much.
some
They're the
other
worst
cloths.
things ever.
I forget what they're made. I think they're made of recyclable materials,
Fucking
but
hate
they
them.
come in like a square, and then once they get wet, they are like a cloth, but they're pretty
The,
good.
the
I'll
Swedish
Yeah, the
ones,
Swedish towels or something. I
yeah,
like those.
Hmm.
yeah.
And so going back to just something you said, Chantal, before I forget, just about like when you're writing prompts that you try to phrase the whole thing correctly.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good courses out there about writing prompts, and that's something I want to learn more
Oh,
about as
okay.
well. So you could always take like maybe watch a YouTube video, but you
Mhm.
could
In
find some
low quality.
information just about learning how to write better prompts. So that way you're not writing as many. You're writing one really good prompt and getting that answer
Hmm.
the first time. So just something
Oh, that's
to
a
throw out
great.
there.
Yeah, maybe if you can find a link for it, we can throw it up somewhere too. That'd be good.
Yeah. Yeah. The one I was going
Yeah.
to do is through like we have LinkedIn Learning at my work, but
Okay.
I'll try to find one that is free to access.
That'd be great.
Hmm.
And then obviously, we try to buy less. That's another thing that we can do.
Just
Just try to
stop
buy
My
shopping.
less,
bank
buy
account would
better.
love that.
Yeah, I know, right? Maybe if you can go to a thrift store. If people thrift all the time. I hate
Yeah.
thrifting.
I know.
it's so
I
I
thrifting
frustrating.
I'm not good
actually,
at.
I think
I
I
have to
would
be in a
like
mood
it.
for it. I have to be in
So,
a mood
Antiques
for
I
it.
like, but
oh,
clothes thrifting is harder for me.
I wish that I
Hmm.
was rich enough to like go antiquing and like, well, I've taken Chantel there, but there's this great antique place in Port Hope, which is like
Hmm.
an hour away from where I live, which is where they filmed it part
It.
one and
Yeah.
two, by the way, for all
Port Hope
the
is further than an hour away from where you live. It's closer to me than to you. It
is
takes me
it?
almost an hour to get to you.
Yeah, but you're taking the train.
No, even
Wait.
with driving.
Okay, can you guys just take me here next time?
Yes,
Yes,
no,
we will
we
go.
will.
Yeah, for sure.
It is very, very quaint, and they have not changed much since the movie was filmed. So I like to go like, oh,
Mhm.
it's a shot for shot. Anyway,
Yeah.
and there's this really cool like actual antique store, and I think it's at least a main floor and a basement. Is there a top floor that we went to?
No, not
We-
that I
Maybe
remember.
maybe someone
Mm.
lives up top, but you walk in and it's all this beautiful furniture from every kind of like walk of life. There's some that's
Oh, I
like
love that.
Mennonite Amish style. There was some from old schoolhouses, and in the basement there was cool shit. And it's
I remember
just
one of them was really creepy.
Was there a
well,
doll?
there was a bear.
Okay. Well, you
So
have to get
like
that for
that's
Vadim, Chantal,
equally creepy.
'cause he's Russian, right? They
Yeah,
like
clearly
theirs.
he needs a bear.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
wasn't like super expensive, but it's like, oh, look at this, like 1920s school desk, and it'd be like $200. I'm like, but like, I
That's
don't
actually
need
a
Yeah.
good
that.
price. That's
Damn,
I
should I have
mean,
gotten the chair?
yes.
Instead of the
Yes.
Chanel bag, we
That's
should have got her the
Well,
chair.
that's right.
Can I have both?
Okay,
Or
well,
not,
we
I
will
guess not in
go.
this,
We will go there
now
for
that I know
furniture,
how
but
much water is being used.
oh geez, but there's a Salvation Army near me, and it's
Mhm.
just people like don't thrift great stuff all the time, and I hate hunting, but maybe that's something that I'll
Yeah.
try to do more, especially for jeans, because holy shit, I only own 3 pairs,
Yeah.
and I don't want to like empty a whole ocean to get a new pair of jeans.
Right.
There is something that you can go up. So if you look up on, I think it was Levi's that it was, they actually tell you where the water comes from as well, like what
Mm.
was
Oh,
reused,
okay.
what was drinking water, and
Mm.
what was the other one? I forget what the other one was, but there's like 3 different kind of levels of water that they can use, and anyways, they will tell you which one they use. So you can find one that's more sustainable versus one that's like using all the drinking water to do this.
Especially like in a small town, it's like, hey, I know you guys need
Mhm.
this, but Levi's is here to take it
Yeah.
all.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. So we're gonna get into some good news though, is that many companies are aware of the issue and they are taking steps to try and lower their water footprint. So Microsoft has pledged to be water positive by 2030, meaning that they'll replenish more water than they consume. And they're investing in water replenishment projects and improving data center cooling. So those photos that I sent you can actually go to the first one. And this is the underwater data center. And so in 2018, Microsoft experimented with what was called Project Natick, and they placed 800 servers in a sealed underwater pod. So that's what you're looking at. It was
Oh,
underwater. And it's the size of a shipping container off the coast of Scotland in the North
branded.
Sea. And they put it
I
at
was gonna say
117
that
feet
looks
deep.
very Scottish, like the
Yeah.
background. I'm like, that is not here.
And so it's more energy efficient, and they found it had lower failure rates because there was less like people moving around where they are, bumping into things, causing
Damn
problems
people.
with all the servers. But
Mm.
scaling this is still experimental, and obviously the whole what's the downside of putting things in the ocean? What
Yeah.
could we have
Oh.
problems? Yes. So it's still very experimental right now. And also the next photo is that there was a company in China that's trialing to do this as well. They started in 2021 on an even larger scale.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
wow.
they're planning on really going with the infrastructure. I think it's like 140 of them or 140 acres worth of, I can't remember, that they're planning on putting in the water. Mm-hmm.
Did you hear the story of like sharks who were chewing on the cables at the bottom of the ocean and they were like impacting the internet?
Oh, yes.
Right?
Where was that? Was
I
that
don't
real?
A while
know.
ago, right?
Was that in
I-
the Meg?
No. You know what? That is what this
That's
photo
something the Meg would
reminds
do.
It is though. Okay, hold on. I have to look this
Uh.
up too. Again, using Google. I'm so sorry. Water.
That's okay. Google's only using 0.2 milliliters
Wait,
per query.
sharks
Yeah.
chewing
Google away.
on
Yeah.
fiber optic cables.
Oh,
The global internet is being attacked by sharks. Google confirms.
well, there you
I
go.
fucking love sharks. This article is 11 years old, by the way.
Oh my God,
What?
amazing.
There's a photo of a shark biting
Oh
the
my
cable.
God, he's
Oh
fully.
my God.
Wow.
Just some
So yeah,
poke
we can
there.
obviously there's some other problems that could happen.
Yeah, they're like
from
sharks
putting
like,
this in the
no, we
water."
didn't.
Yeah.
We
Come on.
got you on camera.
Yeah.
It's like, oh.
We have the evidence.
So Microsoft also is trying to do rainwater harvesting and what's called adiabatic cooling systems. And
Oh.
that is a science that I don't understand, where it's like heat doesn't enter nor does it leave systems. I don't really understand what it means, but it's some sort of adiabatic cooling system. that they're using.
Obviously. Everyone knows about adiabatic cooling systems.
Yeah, everybody knows about it. How do I not know?
Yeah.
You
Google's
don't
also
know?
doing similar things, and they're also aiming to be water positive in 2030. They have something which is ironic called AI optimized cooling, which is Google uses AI to monitor and adjust data center coolings in real time, reducing both energy and water use. I don't
Okay.
know. It works, I guess.
The call's coming from inside the house.
Exactly. They're also using reclaimed water. So some data
Mhm.
centers are using recycled or non-potable water for cooling instead of drinking water. They're doing more water risk assessments. So they factor in local water scarcity when choosing locations for new data centers, and also trying to go to naturally cooler areas like Denmark or Oregon to build their data
Mm.
centers to reduce their cooling
We've always
demands.
said that Denmark
Yeah.
is the Oregon of the West Coast of
Europe.
the United States.
And so Apple and Amazon have also made water stewardship part of their sustainable goals. So they have sustainable water sources. They're investing in systems that use treated wastewater and buildings in cooler climates to reduce the need for active cooling.
No
And they
shit.
also reuse heat. So in some places, they recycle the heat that's generated to warm local buildings versus them having to use electricity for it.
I like all this stuff.
Okay.
Yes. So they know that this is bad and they're trying to be like, okay, let's do something about it. We're
Yeah.
using too much water. So how do we change this? Many high-end brands for clothing are also trying to be more transparent and proactive about their water stewardship. So Stella McCartney pioneered sustainable luxury, avoids animal leather and focuses on water-saving materials.
Mhm.
Gucci claims to use certified sustainable cotton and closed-loop tanning systems for leather, meaning that it uses the same water over. And
Okay.
Chanel and Prada invested in water stewardship programs and cleaner dyeing practices as well. But not all luxury brands are equally committed.
Here we
And
go.
obviously,
Here we go.
lower
Who
end
are the bad
brands like
ones?
fast fashion. I didn't get into that.
Damn
But
it.
fast fashion obviously needs
Yeah.
to keep their stuff cheap, and the only way that they can do that is by
Mhm.
not trying to put in all these sustainable measures.
I,
So
I did tell you that one of the shirts I got from Shein was like, do not put in direct sunlight, right?
no,
What?
Yes.
why will
There-
it light on fire? Like,
I know. It
I-
sounds dangerous.
I don't
you're like
know.
I'm scared. I can't. So you can only wear it on cloudy days.
I have to
Maybe
read
it's just
it.
gonna
But
fade. It's probably just gonna fade because it's made so cheaply.
I mean, like you shouldn't put
that
black like
Yeah.
in direct sunlight. To be honest,
do you know how many like shorts and t-shirts I've bleached at the bungalow? Because I'm like, let me like lay this on the deck to
I
dry.
did that
and
in Australia all the
sun
time. Like
just-
every time I did laundry, we didn't have a dryer, so it always went outside. And if I didn't bring it in time, half my shit was like bleached on one side and the
Yeah.
right color
Oh my
black on the
gosh.
other side.
So
That's-
that probably is what it is trying to say, but it
Yeah.
sounds like if I wear it outside, I'll burst into flames.
Well,
That's
maybe.
what it is
That could be fun.
telling me. When we are done recording, I'm gonna go check and I'll let you know what it
Okay.
actually says. But it's scary. It's like
Well, my closing statement is that yes, AI uses water, but so do our clothes, so do our phones, so do our food, so do our food, so does our food, our morning coffee, our favorite streaming apps, our recording software.
Wow.
But you know, to be aware is obviously powerful, and the more that we start
Mhm.
to know the impact of what we're doing, the
Mhm.
more knowledge that we have, the more we can shape how we engage with technology and ultimately the
Mhm.
planet itself. And as long as we're there and we're putting the pressure on the companies to be like, yes, this is great, this is helpful, but we also still need to make sure it's sustainable as well,
Mhm.
then things can be well. I think AI is here to
Yeah.
stay. I
Oh,
don't
yeah.
think it. AI is here to stay. It's not
It
going
is,
anywhere.
yeah.
We have to accept it. All we have to do is really put the pressure on the companies to be like, you said you're going to make this sustainable by 2030. So, you know, let's
Mhm.
start putting in more water than you're taking out.
It's gonna be a
And I
group
think-
effort.
yeah.
For sure, for sure. And obviously being smarter, like we said, about how you're using certain things too. So
Yeah.
thank you to the listener that reached out to us. It was honestly really heartbreaking
Eye-opening.
and enlightening to
Yeah.
read like how much water we use on the daily, because it really did lead me down a rabbit hole of like, it can't just be AI that's bad. And
Mhm.
unfortunately it's not. It's everything.
Well, to be fair, I never once thought about servers getting cooled with water, which completely makes sense, but it didn't even cross
Mhm.
my mind. I knew about fashion
Well,
and especially fast fashion, but then even like how water is used in every single facet of like construction of anything, and it's too
Yeah.
clean, it's for freaking everything.
It's everything.
Yeah.
Like even with the episode I did in the Fukushima nuclear disaster, like water was used to cool the reactors down to make energy. So
Mhm.
and that's I didn't get into exactly how much water was used, but now I'm curious.
Probably
a
a
lot.
fuck ton. I'm
Probably.
gonna go with that number.
A
Yeah.
metric fuck ton.
Yeah.
Well, I know that you have re-inspired me to get back into my like at-home cleaning products, because I mean,
Mhm.
I do when I order things, which is I do order things online. Like I mean, I think everyone does. I do try to
Mhm.
order in bulk and infrequent, so I'm not like every day
Mhm.
putting through an order. But then what you can do is use stuff you probably already have at home to make things that are a little more eco-friendly, like reusing the
Mhm.
same bottle over and over.
Mhm.
And then when it comes to laundry detergent, I think we have one that's like, I mean, it says eco, but like we talked about, eco could just be like eco, green. It's just,
Yeah.
it could be a word they just
Yeah.
fucking marketing. But I am going to just look at what I can do in my apartment to use less water and to use things more
Mhm.
often. And I am going to actually look into thrifting jeans. So that's what I'm going to do.
I am going to look at the antique store for my upcoming furniture that I need for my new place.
Document
And then
everything.
I
Send it all.
will. Hopefully, I find something really cool. But I
Haunted
also want
chair.
to get those like soap tabs, I think, because I have the
Mhm.
reusable soap jars, but I'm like, I'm still buying containers to fill them up. So I'm like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
how
even that is better, I think, than buying a new soap thing
right?
each
Because it's like,
time.
okay, I'm getting 3 refills out of this, but and the container is recyclable, but there's a whole thing about how much stuff actually gets recycled and
Also, bar soap. We use a lot of bar soap in this house
yeah, I
because
use
it's
bar
less
soap.
water.
Also,
That's my
even
basic
like
soap.
reusable plastic containers and things like that, they all have a shelf
Mm-hmm.
life still. Like you're
Yeah.
only supposed to reuse or like you're only supposed to
I
freeze and
actually bought,
reheat Tupperware so many times before you're
yeah,
supposed to throw it out. I mean, mine are probably all way past that.
Yeah, I'm
yeah,
like,
mine
Like
I'm
have,
sorry.
I'm definitely eating a lot of microplastics.
That's none
right.
of my business.
I actually bought glass Tupperware though, so that's
But it still has a plastic lid.
it does,
And that's where
but
God
you have the
damn it.
issue is that the plastic lid
I
still
don't.
has a life.
But I'm not usually. I try to
Plastics
like
back.
be more gentle with washing those, and you can still use a dish
Oh yeah,
after
no,
for
it's
bake for.
definitely better. It's definitely better to have the
And
glass
then
ones. I
there's
want to
not when
get the
I
glass
heat it
ones
up.
too.
If I just use the plastic dish, I'm not getting all the microplastics maybe
Yeah.
in my food.
Let's just say that when they finally cremate me, it'll be a very interesting
Yeah.
combination
It's like she was
of
60%
materials.
plastic.
You
What's
you
going
literally become
on?
a wax candle afterwards. Like
I know.
Reduce,
We'll
reuse,
just put you
recycle.
in a wax museum, but she's already ready to go.
yeah.
Don't worry. You don't have to
Yeah.
make a duplicate.
Ready.
Yeah.
Looking great. Oh, and I had looked it up. I will do some more research on this too. But it said that beeswax candles are better than like the
Okay.
shit you would get at,
I'm
Mhm.
what's
buying
it called?
so many
Bath and
beeswax candles at
I think
my
Bath and
next
Body
market
uses soy though
adventure.
now.
Okay, hold on. So it says
But
pure
it's
beeswax candles are non-toxic, burn clean, so they're safe, et cetera, et cetera.
Hmm.
So what's it called? Soy wax?
soy.
Yeah.
Burn soy
But the thing is, Bath and
candles.
Body Works is also probably using fragrances that are not great. Like a lot of
Yeah.
fragrances have
Well, it says here
toxins.
that soy emit significantly less soot and harmful chemicals like toluene and benzene. So they do
Yeah, I think that
less.
these companies are trying to use a lot of like natural scents and stuff like
Hmm.
that because I'm pretty sure Bath and Body Works does.
Yeah. But they're
It's been
using
so
it
long since I
also
bought one.
to market to us. Like they're like,
Who
you
knows?
know,
I don't believe anybody anymore, okay? Nobody's
yeah.
doing anything right. You're all just saying words. That's like we were talking this morning about like whole wheat versus whole grain
Okay.
and like how a lot of these words are just like words to make you
Buzzwords.
buy it. Yeah, the buzzwords. There we go.
So I looked up Bath and Body Works candles. This is one random article, so don't take this as like scripture.
These are my
And
mom's favorite candles. Sorry, Mom.
well, listen, I love them too, and my
Sorry.
stepmom even. I don't think I said it on the podcast, and maybe I won't say it, but there are some health concerns, and like we're a candle household, and
Mm-hmm.
so she even said like, I know we used to love them, but please don't buy these candles for me anymore because of all these reasons. It
Okay.
says fragrance is the main reason why
Yep.
maybe they're not great, and then they use paraffin wax, and paraffin's not ideal.
Paraffin's the bad one.
Yeah.
So
And then
just
just
maybe
if it ever says just fragrance, you might
Mhm.
want to just know it could be bad.
Yeah,
guys,
Just in
because
that
you want
word.
things that are more like essential oils.
Yeah, like
okay,
if this is an
so
essential oil, it's
we're
probably
all
better than.
witches. Let's start making our own candles. I have the
Yes.
essential oils already. We're not
Let's
eating
do
the
it.
oils.
Yeah.
We are going to be breathing them in at some point. But
Yeah.
so long story short, just never use water ever again and make your own candles.
Don't flush your toilet. Get an outhouse.
Don't ever buy clothes again.
Right.
Don't even
Whatever
look
you
at
own
coffee.
now, that is your wardrobe forever.
Sorry to ruin coffee for everybody.
You know what though? I did a whole because Chantel was giving us a little bit of razz about the pods, and I did a whole project in university on coffee pods and how bad they are and how expensive they are. So I have every option. I do have the French press, so maybe on the weekend I'll use that more often than the pod. But like, guys, those pods are so
Well,
good.
They're good.
now
I
that
get it.
I have to work in an office 4 days a week, my pods get used less. I do use coffee at work, but we usually make a big pot. So
Yeah.
We have an espresso machine
We-
at work.
We
I
actually
love
do
it.
have a cappuccino machine too, which probably uses a ton, but it's not like pods. It's like the coffee
So
grind.
that's better,
beans
right?
go
Yeah,
in.
same.
So
I don't know. The beans use so much water. I don't know where they're getting the beans from.
I don't know. I'm gonna feel real
don't
bad
know.
about it, but I also need my latte. So
Yes,
There's
yeah,
listen,
same.
life is so short and so hard. Have the goddamn latte and just
Yeah.
try to be mindful of areas that you can cut
Yes.
back in. And
so
that's
that
what
we
it
can
comes down
have
to
the
it.
coffee. We're gonna, be
Yeah.
smarter about our AI queries.
right, yeah, exactly. You
So
drink
A
your
coffee
coffee.
is still
you
less
think
than
about
one
your
AI
query.
query.
there you
Right.
go.
You make that the best query you've ever queried.
Yeah, exactly.
And
So
sip your coffee knowing you did okay.
maybe what people could do is just take a little look at your life and how you're living. If there's anything you can do to cut down, fine.
Right.
And if it's going to make you depressed to stop drinking coffee pods, don't do
Mhm.
that. Just
Yeah.
think about
Scroll
like me.
less.
Buy a freaking sink plug so that when I do
Yeah.
dishes, I can scrub everything and do one rinse. And I haven't had a stopper for so long. So
Well, there you go. We all
I
have
look at that too.
take-home action items for ourselves.
Yes, there we go. Perfect.
stopper
perfect.
is number one.
Yeah.
Thank you for this. I am very depressed, but it's
Mhm.
all stuff that
In
I
a-
kind of
In a
think
good
I
way
knew.
that we had to, right? It
Yeah,
had-
we
it
learned
had to have
something.
Yeah.
and we're gonna be better humans. So thank you,
That's all
Chantal.
we can hope for.
And if anyone has any similar topics, like in terms of the environment, I am going to cover the Pacific garbage patch at some point. But
Mm.
maybe there's some stuff that someone's
Mhm.
like, oh, this could be a cool topic. Like, write us in or send a
Yeah.
DM like that awesome listener did.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we're always here to learn. We're always here to know more. Also, if you think that there are practices that we're doing that are, like this person did, that maybe we shouldn't do this, just so we can learn at the end of the day.
No,
So-
that was the only
Nope.
one.
Yeah.
And we hardly even
we're
use
done.
AI. It's a couple images here and there.
Yeah. And we should just say that all of our notes, as you can probably tell, because they're all over the place in chaos,
Or
usually, but-
handwritten.
yeah, they are not AI generated.
I think
You
that's
can do Google
blatantly
searches.
obvious.
Yeah, in case you were wondering. So
Okay. Well,
I
we love you
learned.
all.
Thank you.
That's
And
it.
we'll see you next week.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
thank you for listening today. We loved having you. If you liked the episode, share with your friends, family, or anyone who would enjoy it. Also, take a moment to review our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or YouTube. Leaving us a like or comment really helps. If you'd like to buy us a coffee, please visit our coffee page at www.ko-fi.com/coastfiles. Email us at coastfilespod@gmail.com. Follow us on Instagram at coastfilespod, or visit our website at www.coastfiles.com. You can find the sources for today's episode on our website. See you next week with a new episode.